G'day everybody, Flatch here, and today I've got another Road to 1800 with you. Played this today, and just doing a recording afterwards. Unfortunately my internet isn't good enough to stream these games, otherwise I would. This map, Land Nomad, I joined FML, I don't even know how to say that, FML's lobby, and he wanted to do some Land Nomad, so I said, yeah, why not? And this is obviously a ranked game. FML was roughly, I think it was 1720, so it was very close to my elo. So I thought this would be a good game. And I'll turn the Fog of War on for this, because that's half the fun of Nomad, not knowing where anything is. So I started with my villager here, here, and here. So luckily I see some boar straight away, some stone, some gold, and some wood. And on my way en route to the wood line, I find some sheep, so I can sheep scout with them. And that's a huge boost to me. So I can use them to find other sheep, other resources, etc. without wasting a villager, which you can't do early. Luckily for me, I also had a huge deer patch next to me, as well as a relic. I had a couple of boar, 4 boar actually, within luring distance. And yeah, so I'm just going to speed this up, not that much, because this was quite a lengthy game, so we're actually going to speed this up quite a significant amount. So we start with 200 wood, so obviously not enough to build a TC, so what you have to do is build a lumber camp straight away, and then build the TC. So I choose to put my TC here. It could have been a little further this way, but it's not that big a deal, so I could get the deer under it. But still not a big a deal. Perhaps the wood lumber camp would have been better off here, and then I could put the TC here or something. Either way, not too bad. If I look at my opponent's map now, and go to his perspective, turn on Fog of War. So he was not lucky enough to find any sheep, so his scouting is very limited. He did find a lumber camp, and he's actually wise enough to build a house, unlike myself. And he has 2 villagers building this TC. That allows me to get my TC up quicker, but however, I actually forgot to build houses. So I got housed at 5 population, which is awful for me. I did not keep a villager on wood. That really hindered my early game. Very inexperienced with Nomad, to be honest. I play it for fun, but what are you going to do? Now, if we look at his map, he has a really nice map, actually. So he's got nice gold, super safe wood, stones in the back of this huge forested off section, and he's even got the rear of his base protected by this cliff. So all he needed to do to defend himself was either wall this bit off, or this bit off, and this bit off, and he'd have a full wall, and it was going to be very hard to assault. Now, obviously I didn't know this at the time. My map, I have some great berries around, some gold. I've got a nice little protected gold back here, some stone, various sheep. We've got lots and lots of sheep, plenty of boar, plenty of deer, a couple of gold ones that are within reaching distance. Overall, it's a pretty decent map, so I can actually do a pretty easy wall across here. Means you can only come in this way and walk here and walk here. And then I've got a relatively safe base. So if I turn Fog of War on again, so all I'm doing right now is luring my boar, trying to get my economy rolling. So I've got my 3 on wood, my 6 on food. I'm going to go on to berries, which I believe was a mistake. I think it would have been more efficient to mill the deer straight away, rather than mill the berries and then go to the deer, which I do later. Start of this game is very slow, so I'm going to speed it up a lot. Okay, now that's done. So you can see I'm still just booming up. So I've got my mill here. I'm finally decided to mill the deer. It's definitely mill worthy. Scouting wise, I've actually scouted some houses that he built here. So I'm sending my sheep scouts out in an attempt to find him. I don't know exactly where he is yet. I found the gold back here, and I know that it's completely enclosed, so that's good information for me. I've already studied the stone, so that's great. I'm just going to start walling off. So get a nice house wall going, so it's going to be hard for him to push in. I did not know his skill level and wanted to play fairly safe. Turn off Fog of War. So I'm just going to go to about 22, 23 pop. And I'm going to click up. So I'm going to speed this up again until we get into the action. Making sure I've only got 4 on each deer at a time and targeting the same deer. I don't want to split deer. Don't split my lumber camp. Let's try it again. I'm going to split my lumber line up a lot. So I've got some here, some up here. I'm going to transition off food for moving into archers, as I am the Britons. Archers are the best. So I'm advancing to feudal age now, and I'm going to build a barracks about now. There we go. And my idea was I had plenty of food, and I knew roughly where he was. If you look at my Fog of War, I can't actually see. How close was I? Very close. And I think I noticed that sheep went missing. So I knew basically where he was. Of course, I know nothing about his map, but I know basically where he is. So I decided I was going to go for a bit of a scrush. Plenty of food to do so. And thought it would help. I cannot speak today, I'm sorry. I thought I'd catch him off guard. So the score difference is significant. But now I see that it was actually scouting. As you can see, he's got no map vision whatsoever. He doesn't know where I am, what's going on, anything like that. So if we go to my scrush, I'm going to switch back to my perspective. I'm just starting to mass the cavalry and luring the boar while I'm at it. I'm going to transition my gold nice and early. My boar lure, I'm actually not very proud of that. So that was pathetic, but grand scope of things, it wasn't too bad. I've got my scouts now. I've got 3. I didn't want to overcommit to it, as I saw he got up to feudal age and knew he could make spears. And damn, unfortunately, if you look at my view, I didn't actually look over here. That would have been perfect. So I walk into his base. I see this huge nice wall for him, and I see this. I'm like, oh yeah, I'll go around his TC. But no, it's really well defended. So what I'm going to do now is hope that he's a noob, run straight through his TC, and I run into a forest. And at this point I was just, ugh. So I go, okay, I'll look here. Okay, now I'm trapped again. And then I see all his woodlines here, all his economy here. He rang the town bell, which is good. I decided to do some harassment, but I lost a scat for that. And then, of course, there's no way out. So unfortunately, my scratch is going to be very ineffective here. I actually do get it out. He tried to ring the town bell, which is hilarious. Unfortunately, his spearmen come out. I wasn't paying attention. I do get one spearman, but the other one gets me. At this point then, I decide to forward. I want to forward archers on him. So I know he's going into spears, and I see the stable. So what I want to do is actually start transitioning to archers. If we look back at my eco, it's pretty well set up. I've got enough on gold. Probably one more on gold would have done it. Maybe take one off food. Don't need that much on food, but I'm trying to go up to castle age. And there we go. Clicked up to castle. Decent timing. I decided I want to claim this hill.
Ready.
I'm going to build some houses here as well, so this villager isn't idle. And I'm going to start massing the archers. So I've got a few queued here, a few queued here. I'm just going to start massing them. Now, unfortunately, he actually gets to castle age before me. And if we just turn on Fog of War now, it's less. He's going to start making knights. Now, there's probably a poor play on my part not to make a couple of spearmen to deal with that. And perhaps that's something I can put into my comps later. Being the Berbers, he does get cheaper knights. So that actually works in his favour. I was hoping that if you go Fog of War again, I knew he wasn't fully walled in, but I thought I could funnel him away from my army if I walled him in like this. And unfortunately, he moved out a little bit too quickly for me. He does have the defense upgrade, so he's actually going to fend off my archers. I'm just going to retreat. I don't want to lose my archers to his knights. I'm just hoping he doesn't follow me too far, which he actually doesn't. So I'm hoping this villager lives. This poor. But unfortunately he doesn't. So my forward was a bit of a failure. I am going to start making spears now to deal with those knights. I'm going to claim this hill. It's a really nice defensive hill for me. A mistake on his part, I think, was not using these knights to pressure. I have crossbow now, and not bodkin yet. And he's going to destroy my forward for some reason, even though it wasn't a very threatening forward. I am fully walled in though, so the knights aren't going to do a whole lot of damage, but you never know. I'm going to build a second archery range because I believe I was in trouble. I'm on stone for the TCs. I'm going to put up one TC. I'm just saving it, and another one I think somewhere. Yep, there's my second TC. He's going to waste his time attacking this house. I'm going to mass some units on this hill. I really need to take the hill. I've got a few spears in defense just in case he decides to attack, and he's going to try to move his knights around. He doesn't actually know where I am at this point. He has done no scouting whatsoever. So now he's got a decent idea. He thinks I'm up. If I go to his perspective. Yeah, he's still got no idea where I am, so his lack of scouting is actually killing him right now. All he knows is that I forwarded. He gets housed there, so I'm about 10 pop ahead at this point. Luckily, he actually lets me mass these archers. So that's what I'm playing now. I've got 2 ranges and a barracks. And I will increase that capability once I get my eco balanced. Clearly I have a little bit too many on food. But I am trying to boom as hard as possible with the 4th TC. This is our 300 pop game. Now I see he's coming in. He's just going to run past, get a few hits on him. And my pikes are actually going to do some serious work. So, great investment there. So I get his whole army of knights for basically free, and I'm going to push out. So hoping that he was on this wood line, I pushed over here to see if I could snipe some vills. If you look at my perspective, I actually can see a couple. But I wasted a little bit of time attacking that house for no apparent reason. All meantime, I'm still trying to mass up these crossbows. I get one pick off, which is pretty good. And I'm going to push back into here. I'm going to keep massing, and I'm actually going to move some villagers forward again. And I'm going to try to claim this hill. So I'm trying to mount a big defensive. All the while trying to mass my military. Still pumping out spears, so I noticed that he's actually tripled house walled for some reason. So I'm going to try to take down that house. If we go to his perspective, he doesn't actually have a siege workshop at the moment. He's fully committed into knights. He's actually not walled up that way, which I didn't know. It's probably my bad for not trying. He is, however, doing something good, and he's collecting relics. And he's actually messing up some knights. Now, this is a decent play, I think, and he's going to build a siege workshop somewhere. I'm sorry, that was me. I'm still in my perspective. So he's going to throw up a siege workshop now. I'm going to push in, because I feel after that fight I was feeling pretty confident. Get another vill pick off. I see the siege workshop now. I get another vill pick off. I see his huge army of knights, and I'm like, gotta get out of there. And I'm going to retreat as hard as I can. So I do a play here. I actually try to funnel his knights into this and hit him with a few mangonel shots while I bunch up my archers, which I really should have done a bit more. But his mangonel comes in, I've got nowhere to go, and he's going to destroy my army of crossbows. That was a really bad engagement for me. I lose my entire army, and I'm going to lose the forward again. So that's a big mistake on my part, and he still has a good amount of knights. So at this point I'm like, I'm going to set my gather points back here again. And again he makes the same mistake and destroys the forward, which I don't think was completely necessary. I forgot the barracks spawn point, and have a couple of archers that I forgot. I'm going to mass up again, and I'm going to wall off this side of my base, so my stone is secure. So I'm going to build some barracks and 3 archery ranges. I'm really trying to pump these crossbows out to deal with the large amount of knights more efficiently, as well as some pikemen up front. So he's going to push forward now. It's quite a threatening army, and I think he misplayed here again. Instead of he did wipe out my entire army just before the scores were even, so he probably had the advantage. And then he retreats for some reason. So I think that was a huge mistake. He had the numbers to engage there. I do have 2 defense upgrades on my pikes and full upgrades on my crossbows, which is good on me, but he really could have taken that fight, and then I would have been in a bit of peril. I think I could have defended, because his only ranged unit is a mangonel, so I could have just repaired whatever he's attacking. But that's besides the point. He could have wiped out my army and I'd be in a much worse position. So right now I'm fearing that he comes around this side and tries to hit me from the side. I'm not sure where he's actually going with his knights. Either way, but it gives me a chance to mess up my army again. This time I've got a strong force and he can no longer engage. And while he's doing that, I'm going to fast forward a lot. In the meantime, he gets up to Imp, and I've clicked up to Imp. And for whatever reason, he's got his knights back there. I'm not sure why. Always trying to produce from my TCs. Not doing a very good job at it. I got a few crossbows stuck back here, and a few idle villages around. I was looking for a second gold pile, so I decided to take a risk and go for that gold pile. To defend myself from any attacks, I was wondering if he was going to get in. I'm actually going to try to build a gate here. Imp's coming in, so if I fast forward, I'm just massing up my army. Upgrade to Arbalist, getting on my blacksmith upgrades, so I've already got the last archery range upgrade, and a bit of castle on the front just to be sure. I get away with that gold uncontested. Meanwhile, he's upgraded Cavalier, and he's actually started making elite Genitors, which I thought was a good move on his part. He just doesn't have enough of them at the moment, so this army comp is scary to me. Mangonels, Cavalier, and elite Genitor. So luckily most of his army is completely weak to Halb, so I upgrade to Halb. I'm mass producing them. All archery rangers producing stuff. I grab that relic that was in my base. Run out of gold in the back, and I'm pop capped again at 190. Double mining camp here for more efficiency, and he's going to come forward. So I know here that I'm going to fast forward again. Sorry, I don't want the video to take 9 hours to upload. So I'm going to take the hill, because I know that it's imperative for me to keep this hill. Luckily I find his army here, and it's a big engagement, but he wisely disengages pretty quick, and I'm going to pull back to the hill. I'm trying to build as many houses as I can, because I keep getting housed. I'm so used to 200 pop. It's ridiculous. I'm going to run out of stone as well. This castle's going up very slowly, I should task my villagers on it. And here I'm like, yep, maybe here's too much. I'm going to take this hill instead. So I'm just going to build a bunch of archery ranges to try to hold it. At this point I've got a huge number of arbalists and a nice number of halbs. And once this castle goes up, I'm going to have some trebs as well to help break down his defenses. So I'm going to start queuing a couple of trebs. I put my monk forward just for the lulz. I don't think I could see any other relics on the map. Nope. So my train's chugging. His economy is not too bad. He's only on 2 TCs, which I think is a huge mistake. So he couldn't boom. And he also didn't find those stones in the back of his base, which is unfortunate for him. I see the Surge Workshop going up. I want to try to deny that. I see his Omegas, so I'm just like, alright, go in my halbs. This is looking dicey, but I think I can take him. So I've got the hill. I've got a huge number of arbs. My halbs are actually wrecking the Genitors, and I actually clean up his entire army, which is huge for me. So this is where the game really swung in my favour. He doesn't have too many Genitors, so I thought I'd take him all out before he could mass too many. And his whole army is gone. So I'm going to move my trebs forward now. Right now I researched yeoman. So I've got that 5+6 range. I've got 6+4. I've got ballistics. I've got chemistry. Research. I've got all my halb upgrades, I believe. No, not even close. I get them eventually. Still just mass producing archers up to 260 pop now. Genitors are not good against trebs. I highly recommend not using them to take out trebs. I'm going to stand on staggered formation so it doesn't surprise me with an Omega shot, and I'm going to just clear up this choke point basically, while massing more troops.
Ready.
So he's just going full Genitor and Omega, which is fine. He looks like he's short on gold if I go to his perspective. He's completely out of gold. He's got a lot of food, but that's about it, and stone, that's about it. I send in my halbs if I get an Omega. So now the choke point's clear. I'm a lot less threatened by the Omegas. I do lose all my halbs though. And he's going to try to engage here. So I just have way too many Arbaleths for him to deal with. I make sure that I'm trying to select my units to snipe the Omegas, which I do. And there goes his entire army. And he GG's out. So I thought that was a really decent game. It could have gone either way at some point. I think I played defensively a little bit better than I usually do with my full walls, even though I know there's a hole there and probably a hole elsewhere as well. Idle time was a big issue this game, so I didn't manage my eco very well. Again, I'm so not used to Nomad, it's not funny. Let's have a quick look at the achievements. So scores on my favour, fine. He actually kills more units than me, and I was very surprised about that. Not sure when that happened. Buildings raised, obviously. I had a lot more wood and gold, so I went heavy on archers. He went heavy on cavalry. So his gold collected was pretty low. Up times, I was up to feudal first, and he was up to castle first. He actually got to imp for me as well. He had a fair bit of relic gold, good for him. 130 villages, that could have been 30 higher, I think, and that would have been better. And yeah, so thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.